Yo, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I was ain't open that mouth. Sure that she talking and open that mouth. If it say something, we rubbing it out. And then it's something it out. And then it's got and it's part of this nothing.
And now from an undisclosed location, you are now tuned in to the Xander Effect with host Xander Dames.
I'm so happy, cause today found my friends are in my head. I'm so ugly, that's okay, cause so are you. Book on mirrors, Sunday morning is every day for all I care. And I'm not scared, light my candles in our days, cause I found God. Yeah! So lonely, that's okay, shake my head, and I'm not sad, and just maybe I'm to blame for all I've heard, and I'm not sure, I'm so excited, I can't wait to meet you there, and I don't care, I'm so horny, that's okay, my will is good. So happy, cause today I found my friends in my head. I'm so ugly, that's okay, cause so are you. Broke arm is Sunday morning, it's every day for all I care. And I'm not scared, light my candles in our days, cause I found God. Yeah!
Yeah. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Xander Effect. I'm your host, Xander Dames, and man, I can't believe it. We're actually back on the Xander Effect after being gone for, Jesus, since what, December or so? This has been like the longest time that we've been on hiatus for a while, and I'm very, very happy to be back on the Xander Effect, along with my co-hosts, of course, Lonnie Rivera. She couldn't be here today. She's actually off and still, you know, she's still off doing a couple of things here, but we'll be more than happy to see her again very, very soon. But I do have this other dude next to me right here with me. He's actually on location himself, Mr. Jeremy Miller. Jeremy, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, brother, it's good to be back.
Did you miss me? Was that
no,
all it was?
Absolutely
You didn't miss
not.
me.
I missed our listeners. I missed Lonnie, who I'm still missing since she's not here. But I have to put up with you daily.
That hurt. That hurts. That hurt. See, and that's the reason why I went ahead and I played the song Nirvana, Lithium, at the opening of the show, because that's how you make me feel. That's what I need to
deal with you.
Well, no, that's what I need to deal with you, actually. And I'm the only one. Like, if for any of you that are following us on YouTube, we're actually going to be filming the Xander Effect now on video on YouTube. So make sure you check out our YouTube channel, the Xander Effect Podcast. Look for us on there. All our episodes are on there. All what is it? 105 episodes, 106 episodes. This includes the specials that we've done as well.
Right. Yeah, it's right around 106, I think. Yeah,
somewhere around those lines. So it's definitely really big, man. That was, dude, let me tell you something. That was such a huge pain in the butt to go ahead and get all those episodes on there. It was driving me nuts, but
better hey, you than me, brother.
I hate you. I really, really hate you for that. So, but it feels good though to be back on here with you and with Lonnie when she gets back. It'll be great to have her back on the show as well, so that way she could go ahead and deal with you, and I don't have to deal with you that much either.
I was gonna say keep you in line, but
funny guy. Now you can actually see our facial expressions and everything else that we have in on there. You could see Jeremy's ugly mug. I mean, I'm sure many of you are sick of seeing him already. You've seen him already on the television show Growing Pains when he was a little kid. As an adult, yeah, he's a sexy beast. I gotta admit, I'm sorry, you're a sexy beast, man.
I was gonna say you're hot for me. Don't even lie.
Always, buddy, always. It's that bromance, man. It's that wonderful bromance we got. But it's good to be back on the Xander Effect. We got a lot of really cool episodes coming up for everybody. Super excited. Today we actually have a special guest, Jay Sun. Comes back to the Xander Effect. We haven't talked to him in a very long time. He's here to promote his brand new single, Come With Me. And it's a good song. Seeing the music video, we actually, for all of you that are watching on YouTube, we will be showcasing his brand new music video. And of course, for all of you listening on all our streaming platforms, Spotify, iHeartRadio.com, Apple Podcasts, and many others, you'll be able to listen to the episode and listen to his song on there. So you get the best of both worlds. You could either go on YouTube and check us out on there, subscribe, and check out all the video content that we got going on right there, or you could listen to us on all those other platforms. Trust me, we have plenty. Just go ahead and click on the link on our social media, either on Instagram, the Xander Effect Podcast, at the Xander Effect. I can't even talk right now. At the Xander Effect Podcast on Instagram, or at my personal Instagram page, which is at Xander Dames 1. Jeremy's got his own Instagram as well, but he doesn't like to play ball with me. He doesn't like that. He doesn't like to do any ad stuff. But that's all right. We'll go ahead. I mean, he's a part of the Xander Effect anyway, so we still drag him along anyway. We still drag him in there with us.
Kicking and screaming the whole way.
Kicking and screaming all the way. So let's go ahead and get started. We got a couple of things going on in entertainment news, but before we get to that, Jeremy, you were telling me this crazy story about a mom gone crazy practically.
Oh yeah, we have this is reported on BBC News, and we have a mother in in Pennsylvania, apparently a Miss Raffaella Spone, who utilized deep fake technology on the computer to create naked photos of underage cheerleaders on her daughter's cheerleading team. She created naked photos of them drinking and smoking and doing other things.
Wow.
And sent these to the leaders of the cheerleading organization in their hometown, in their high school, trying to get these girls kicked off the team just so her daughter could move up the ladder in the competitive cheerleading world.
Wow.
So this woman is facing a numerous amount of charges.
Child pornography being one of them.
I'm quite sure. Even if it's fake, it's still, pictures of underage girls. So it's, this is a big time problem. And this lady has dug herself an incredibly large hole.
I mean, I've heard of psychotic moms with beauty pageants and things like that. And yes, you have moms that want to relive their glory days in cheerleading by living vicariously through their daughters, pressuring them and making them, do cheerleading and do all these things.
You see it in sports, you see it in cheerleading, you see it in just about every, aspect of those. I mean, it's very... look at the little league games. You have parents beating the crap out of umpires. You have, this stuff gets taken way too far, way too often.
Entirely way too far and way too often, and that's something that needs to stop. But unfortunately, that's parents for you. They want their kids to have, I guess, the same life, but times have changed since our time, and this generation and everything. I mean, you have so many different things. I mean, you have cancel culture that's trying to cancel Eminem. Mm-hmm. Oh, that one, I swear. I had a few things to say about that one, let me tell you. And so did Eminem, actually.
Yes, well, we all know that was going to happen. He doesn't exactly remain silent.
Well, it's funny about that because Eminem had already prepared for cancel culture, and he had made this song up a year ago. Before or a year before not a year ago, but a year before cancel culture even began, he had already written this song, knowing that this is going to happen. Or actually, it was the year when cancel culture began. He started writing it to make sure that when it happens, guess what? He's going to be there. Go ahead.
He was ready.
He was ready for it all the way. But besides that, I mean, man, that's crazy though that these people are actually doing that. That's so nutty, especially with all these psychos and real pedophiles out there. I mean, this woman was giving them, opportunities and a chance to go ahead and be more perverted than they already are. I mean, this is horrible. This is a heinous act that this woman did.
Oh yeah, it's an awful story. Awful story all the way around. And truthfully, I mean, think about these girls, that's the way it came to light for one of them was they started receiving harassing text messages and photos. People were actually sending and messaging her naked photos of herself.
Wow.
Okay, this is a young girl who hasn't done any of this stuff. And now she's being, passed around school. It's just awful.
That and I mean, when you're at that age, that's such a crucial age to be growing up. I mean, you're going through, like, especially for females, there's so many things that females go through during their teen years. Your body's changing, your emotions are changing, so many changes going on for both sexes, but it's a lot worse for females because physically females are going through the change that females go through and in their teen years, and that's always a very difficult time for a young girl. And then you add this, and that's just even more worse as at the risk of sounding redundant and with bad grammar. that just sounds worse. To go ahead and do something like this, and not to mention, what are the parents thinking? I mean, at first glance, if a parent sees this, they're gonna go freaking ballistic. Like, how could you do this? How could you be on here? And then you have this girl trying to explain to them, that's not me. Like, that's not me there. Never did that.
Are you kidding? If that was my daughter that they did this to, I mean, we'd have some serious problems.
I wouldn't be seeing you from 20 to life.
I'd say 20 to life, probably. Yeah. But you'd see me. You'd come visit. I know.
Of course I would. I mean, I mean, they allow conjugal visits, so it's all good. I'll visit you.
Oh God, that's an awful thought.
Be like, put your hand on the glass. Put your hand on the glass. Do it. Do it, Jeremy. Be like from Cable Guy. Oh, Billy.
That scene cracked me in.
Love that movie, by the way. Jim Carrey was a freaking, he was just crazy in that movie. Anyways, but yeah, I hope that this lady gets the maximum punishment for what she did, because this is just something. This is bad. That was really bad what she did. So I mean, I'm hoping that she gets the maximum for that. But moving forward, I mean, we have a few things to talk about. I mean, the Grammys was last night. And the biggest winner, Beyonce, with 28 Grammys. This is the first time in history that a female artist has gotten this many Grammys at the Grammy Awards. And congratulations to Beyonce. I mean, she is just a legend in the music industry. And, for her to have received this many, I mean, she's the queen bee. I mean, it's something it's a huge monumental achievement for her. And major congrats to Beyonce and to Jay-Z. I mean, that's his wife, and he's got to be proud of his wife. Also, Beyonce's daughter also received her first Grammy as well at the Grammys last night. So it was a great night for that family in general. I mean, what are your thoughts on that, Jeremy?
I think it's pretty awesome all around. It's incredibly well deserved. Beyonce is just insanely talented. She always has been. She's amazing. I mean, that's the truth. It's not a genre of music that I listen to all the time, but I don't think she's put out anything that I haven't enjoyed that doesn't make me start bopping my head and start grooving and moving around, even if it's not something that I would throw on for myself all the time.
You liar. You dance around to put a ring on it.
Honestly, every time I hear that song, I just can't stop thinking of Kyle from Glee singing that on the football field.
Okay, the fact that you saw Glee is already scary enough as it is right there.
Dude, I've got Joni. What do you want from me? She binged.
Well, that's true. When your fiance goes ahead and says you're watching this with me, you kind of have no choice.
You know what you're doing. You're watching.
Yeah, you kind of have no choice in the matter. There's just no way you're going to be able to escape that.
But anyway, no, I absolutely have nothing but respect for Beyonce, and for her to have reached this kind of pinnacle. And like you said, where it's the very first time we have a female artist who has more Grammys than everybody else. Mm-hmm. I mean, Michael Jackson held that title for a long time. Mm-hmm. Prince held that title for a while. I mean, there's all these.
These are all those are all male artists.
Yeah. All male iconic artists. So to finally have somebody of her caliber, I mean, not that we haven't had amazing icons and divas and performers, but to have her finally achieve that and be, like you said, the most decorated Grammy artist ever is pretty awesome. And I mean, I've told you this before. I actually got to meet her before she was Beyonce. I had no idea who I was meeting.
Back when she was in Destiny's Child.
Yeah, I met Destiny's Child when they were maybe 14 or 15 years old. Mm-hmm. And I had no clue who I was meeting. They said, this new group, Destiny's Child. I, sat there and talked with them for 5 or 10 minutes. It was awesome. They were very sweet. And then we went on our way, 3, 4, 5 years later, I'm like, holy crap.
and now you're like, holy crap.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's incredible. Cause the first time I saw Destiny's Child was on the Disney TV show, The Smart Guy. I think that's where they made like a special guest appearance, and I saw Beyonce and I fell in love. I was like, oh my God, she's so beautiful. I was like, wow, Beyonce's freaking gorgeous. But I really didn't know who Destiny's Child was. I just thought that they were just all three of them were beautiful, but Beyonce was the one that always stood out to me, in that group, and rightfully so. I mean, look at her now. But it's just so incredible to see the evolution of Beyonce, where she started and now where she is. And, major props to her. Congratulations to her again for her many Grammy wins. And, it was a huge night for a lot of people last night. A lot of different events happened last night on the Grammys. One of which that stands out is the snub of Naya Rivera in memory of. A lot of people are talking about that as well. The fact that they snubbed her at the Grammys. I mean, but at the same time, it's like with Naya Rivera, I don't know if per se it is a snub because she was in Glee and she did music, but I mean, would you consider that a snub? I mean, I would say that maybe at the Emmys, if she wasn't shown in the memory of, that would be a snub because she was on a TV show. But at the Grammys, I don't know if you could consider that really a snub. What do you think?
That's a hard one because, like you said, she did do some music, but she wasn't known as a musician first and foremost. So, I mean, for me, that would be like, and even this would have more ties into music because he's been in an actual band for years, but that would be like somebody saying, oh, well, if Kevin Bacon passed away, he was snubbed at the Emmys or at the Grammys.
Yeah, because he was in what, Footloose or something like that?
Well, no, not just because he's had a band with his brother, the Bacon Brothers, for almost 20 years. And they actually have toured and have done an album and are actually pretty good. But again, that's not what he is known for. So, Kevin Bacon is an actor. I mean, everybody knows him for his movies, his TV shows, everything else he's done. So, yes, he was a musician, but I wouldn't expect to see a tribute on the Grammys to him.
True.
You know what I mean? So I don't know if that's a real snub or not. I mean, I can tell you I was rather bothered that my TV dad, Alan Thicke, was not shown in memoriam at either the Academy Awards or the Emmys the year he passed away. For a man who contributed as much to the entertainment industry as he did, that was a pretty brutal snub. But this, like I said, I think people think of her first and foremost as an actress. Yeah. And that's where they would expect to see a tribute, I think.
True. And I mean, it's a tough one to call, but it is what it is. There's always been snubs left and right at Grammys, Emmys, Oscars, and everything. And, people go ahead and talk about it the next day, but, the time's passed. So all they can do is apologize and say, we're sorry. We with the unfortunate number of people that have passed on, it's just hard to keep track of who did we miss, and that must be tough on the people putting everything together. So, it is what it is on that aspect. In other entertainment news, again, congratulations to Beyonce, because again, huge win for her. But in other entertainment news, Zack Snyder's Justice League the reviews are coming in. I mean, it's premiering this week. It's the 4-hour-long director's cut, the way the movie was supposed to be before Zack Snyder had to give the reins over to the other director and to the other party. And the thing here is,
wait, give the reins over? Well, he walked away for another project, didn't he?
No. He had Death in the Family.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he had a death in the family. He had to leave the project for that reason. And according to news sources now, don't quote me on this, because I mean, this is just something that I heard, that that's the reason why he left the project, was because there was a death in the family. And he was really I think it was a daughter or something like that, something to that effect. I believe it was. I'd have to double check my notes. But it was a big death in the family, and he left the project for that reason. He couldn't do it anymore.
Very, very understandable.
So, but unfortunately, the movie was left. Obviously, we saw the reviews. The movie was horrible. So many people didn't like it. However, this version, the Zack Snyder cut, the way he wanted the movie to go, this is the movie that people are talking about right now already. They're saying that this movie is a knockout. And let me tell you, if the trailer is any indication, this movie is going to be huge on HBO Max. I mean, you know, you have Steppenwolf looks completely different. Doesn't look like the Steppenwolf that we saw in the Justice League, the version that we all saw. You have Apocalypse, or no, not Apocalypse, Darkseid. I keep on saying Apocalypse. Darkseid makes an appearance. There's been rumors that John Jones, Martian Manhunter, he will make a cameo. So will members of the Green Lantern Corps. They'll make cameos as well. There's been talk of so many different cameos. I mean, they go into deeper story on the Flash. And his, you know, they show him saving who I'm assuming is Iris West, his future wife. So you know, they show so many different parts of each hero of the Justice League that this new version makes more sense than the version we all saw. And this is, of course, in a Zack Snyder style, which is that dark type of feel, just like he's had on all the Batman movies, in Batman Begins and everything. That dark feel, that realistic feel to the heroes. It's not comic booky or anything like that. It's the Zack Snyder style. So this right here, this version looks freaking phenomenal. And this is the version that so many DC fans have been waiting for. This is the version that should have rivaled Avengers, like completely. Should have knocked Avengers out of the box office reigns a long time ago, but unfortunately he had to leave the project. So now he the thing is, he had all the footage. He had all the footage of everything he shot. That's why he had the opportunity to re-edit everything and make it his way. And that's why this is called the Zack Snyder's Cut Justice League, because this is his version of it, the way it was supposed to be. So I'm excited for it. I know you're a little hesitant on it.
It's not, I mean, you know me, I love Zack. His style is great. Mm-hmm. I prefer a more realistic, darker edge to my hero stories. Mm-hmm. Those have always been the ones that I gravitated towards. But first of all, getting my ADD ass to sit down for a 4-hour film is going to be tough.
Unless it's good. Unless it's really good.
Dude, even if it's good, 4 hours, 4 hours.
That's the beauty part about pausing it, watching something else for a minute, and then going back to it.
4 hours. That's a long time. And I have to say, for your comment of this would have knocked Marvel off of its perch. I don't know about that, man.
We have to wait and see.
Even if it's a brilliant film, trying to get a 4-hour film into the theaters and get people to go and see that, unless he broke it up into parts, I don't see that doing the type of business that Avengers did. Yeah. I think critically, maybe it could have gotten more recognition, but at a 4-hour time mark, I don't think there's any prayer worldwide you could have gotten the response that Marvel got. I just don't think it's possible. I think that is a bit of a barrier for a lot of people in going to see a film.
It's quite possible. I'm not going to knock your opinion on that one, because it is a long freaking movie. But I think I'm not too sure here, but I'm thinking that Zack Snyder did break it up in parts. I want to say that he did, and I think he's showcasing the first part this week, and then I don't know how it's gonna go. I don't know. I guess I gotta go ahead and watch it when it premieres. I believe it premieres. I think it premieres Friday, the 19th or the 16th, I believe. It premieres one of those.
It's coming out this week.
It comes out this week on HBO Max. I know that for sure. So I'm looking at my notes here. I can't really. I think, and
I'll tell you, I mean, they could have gone, old school with it, which would have been awesome. Yeah. If you think about it, we used to get 3.5 hour pictures, and what did they do? You had an intermission.
True.
It was
True.
normal. People
remember
don't remember that. People,
Well,
a lot of people don't remember that.
Well,
you know,
even on video cassette, and I'm aging myself here. My mom, she bought movies like Ben-Hur or The Sound of Music, or The Ten Commandments, and we would watch it, and then at the end of the first video, it would say intermission.
Yep.
During that time, because it was it's an epic movie.
If you watch Gone with the Wind, it still has the intermission and the intermission score, even when you're watching it. You can watch it on DVD. You can watch it on VHS. They sometimes cut it out if they put it on TV, but any other version you watch, it's actually cut with the full intermission as part of the film. It's on the DVD. It's on everything.
Very true. Very true. So I guess, again, we're going to have to wait and see this week when it comes out. Check your local listings, check HBO Max, because it's going to be on HBO Max. But we're going to have to wait and see if there is, in fact, an intermission, or if they're going to do the entire 4-hour movie in one fell swoop. So we'll see what happens there. Speaking of long movies, it seems that, James Cameron went ahead and re-released Avatar overseas, and that one knocked Avengers Endgame out of the box office. And many fans are pissed about it because like social media went bananas in talking about how, James Cameron, he couldn't do it any other way. He had to re-release it and blah, blah, blah. But Avengers, when the box office came out, they're the ones that were number one. And I mean, in a sense, I got to agree with some of these fans and what they're saying, because it's true. I mean, you have to re-release it. But if a movie is doing well after its re-release, I mean, even Marvel went ahead and gave James Cameron props on social media. They even did kind of like a mini GIF on congratulating him over his box office win over Endgame. So Marvel wasn't too, they were like, okay, whatever. Congratulations to you.
Here's the thing. Marvel doesn't care.
They really don't.
They don't care. They made billions.
Fans care more than the production studios.
Marvel made billions off of this. Here's the difference. James Cameron is such an egomaniac, he cared. He couldn't live with it. James Cameron is such an egomaniac that he couldn't live with it. He had to re-release it so his could be number one. He personally could not live with it. It's well known. He's not a pleasant person. It's not like he's knocking down my door. I'm not saying anything, it's going to get me in trouble. But, he's well known.
You never know. He might actually like your gumption, sir.
No, but he's well known not to be the most pleasant person to work with. And, he's very much an egomaniac. And it's been a thing with him that I have to be number one with this, and mine was greater, and da-da. And the truth is, Avatar's not that great. I'm sorry. It's not. It was an enjoyable film. For its time, it was fun, but it does not hold up. It's 10 years later, you go back and watch it. That's why he re-released it overseas. Nobody would have bought tickets to see it here.
True. Yeah.
Nobody would have even paid attention. When
the majority of the people already have it, they own it at home. Why are they going to go watch it in theaters for the experience when, some of these people, some people have like home theaters at home? I mean, there's no point in watching it in a theater again.
The truth is, for me, it's annoying because if he wanted to do something like this, well, then finally bring out Avatar 2, which you've been saying you're going to do forever and ever and ever. But no,
I think they started filming that already.
Yeah, they were supposed to start filming like 7 years ago.
True.
I mean,
I was about to say because of COVID they couldn't, but yeah, you're right. They were supposed to do it a while ago anyway.
This has been going on forever now.
True.
So what? The only way he can feel good about himself is to it's very petty and ridiculous to me.
But Jeremy, tell me how you feel. Don't hold back.
You have a film that has made over, $100 billion or whatever the hell they've made, and that's not enough for you. Your ego is so fragile that be a creator, come up with something new.
True.
Do a next installment. I mean, Endgame didn't just beat them. Every single one they had reached the 1 billion sales mark.
Wow.
Every Avengers movie reached the 1 billion sales mark. So James, show me your stuff. You want to be the number one? Well, where's number two? Where's number three? You show me $1 billion in sales on those. Give us a great picture for part 2 and 3 and so on and so forth. Then you're number one. Where's
number 2? The famous game that most sanitation workers always wonder. Where's number 2? Well, you heard him, James. You heard the man, the myth, the legend right here, Mr. Jeremy Miller, calling you out. So make sure, where is number 2? And not only him, but many fans are calling you out on that one. So I don't know.
For me, that would have been the thing to do. If you want to one-up them, that's the way to one-up them. Re-releasing your previous stuff just so you can stroke your pathetically fragile ego is pretty petty to me. Wow. If you want to be number one, why don't you come out with some new material and beat them at their own game?
You're savage, you know that?
That's the facts. I'm sorry.
You're a savage human being.
Why am I gonna sugarcoat it?
Well, I guess that so far that's the way he's playing it right now. So fans are still waiting on Avatar 2. We don't know how long we're gonna wait. We're gonna continue to wait, but whenever he decides to. But so far he's re-released Avatar, the first one. So it is what it is. So we'll just go ahead and live with that for right now. That's probably just a taste. Maybe that's what he's doing. Maybe he's just putting that out there as a taste of things to come. Getting people to remember Avatar so that way it could prepare them for Avatar 2. That could be another possibility.
I'm sure that's how he justified it.
Yeah. we got some other stuff going on today. Coming up next, we actually have our guest today, Jay Sun, hip hop artist. Jay Sun's going to be on the show talking about his brand new single "Come With Me" and his music video, which we will also showcase on YouTube again. We are on YouTube as well. But first, here is Matchbox 20's 3 a.m. right here on the Xander Effect.
She said it's cold outside and she hands me my raincoat. She's always worried about things like that. Well, she said it's all gonna end and it might as well be my fault. And she only sleeps when it's raining, and she screams and her voice is strange. She says, baby, it's 3 a.m. I must be lonely. She says, baby, well, I can't help but be scared of it all sometimes. And the rain's gonna wash away, I believe it. She's got a little bit of something, God, it's better than nothing. And in a color portrait, well, she believes that she's got it all. She swears the moon don't hang quite as high as it used to. And she only sleeps when it's raining, and she screams, and her voice is strange. And she says, baby, when it's 3 a.m. I must be lonely. Well, when she says, baby, well, I can't help but be scared of it all sometimes. And the rain's gonna wash away, I believe. Yes. I'm stuck at 3 for days and days. She thinks that happiness is a map that sits on her doorway. But outside, it stopped raining. And she says, baby, well, it's 3 a.m., I must be lonely. Yeah, when she says, baby, yeah, well, I can't help but be scared of it all. Sometimes the rain's gonna wash away, I believe this. When it's 3 a.m., I must be lonely. Well, yeah, when she says, baby, well, I can't help but be scared of it all. Sometimes.
Yo, what up? This is AB.
Hey guys, this is Sean Kanan.
What's going on? It's Amanda Holly.
Hey, Jeremy Miller from Growing Pains here.
This is Maxim Model Riley Sawyer.
And you're listening.
And you're listening.
And you're listening to the Xander Effect.
Psychic spies from China try to steal your mind's elation. And little girls from Sweden dream of silver screen quotation. And if you want these kind of dreams, it's Californication. It's the edge of the world in all of Western civilization. The sun may rise in the east, at least it's settled in a final location. It's understood that Hollywood sells Californication. Hey, a surgeon very wild to break the spell of aging. Celebrity skin, is this your chin or is that war you're waging? Firstborn unicorn, hardcore
destruction leads to a very rough road, but it also breeds creation. An earthquake's out to a girl's guitar, that's just another good vibration. And tidal waves couldn't save the world from Californication. Hey, I surgeon very well to break the spell of aging. Sicker than the rest, there is no test, but this is what you're craving. Firstborn unicorn, hardcore softcore. Dream of Californication. Dream of Californication. Dream of Californication. Dream of Californication.
This is Jackie Lastra, the voice of Aset, you bet! From I, the Somnium Files, and you're listening to The Xander Effect.
That was Polyna's Angel right here on the Xander Effect. So we were supposed to have artist Jason on the show, but unfortunately he actually had to he couldn't make it today due to some personal reasons. Hopefully he's okay, and we're sorry to hear that he couldn't come through and talk a little bit about his new single. We'll go ahead and have him back on the show again sometime in the near future to talk about his new single. So we'll figure that out. So Jason, hopefully you're doing better, and we'll get you back in here again. But just because he's not here doesn't mean we don't have extra innings in entertainment news. And I know, Jeremy, you have some stuff that you want to talk about. I actually, there was a couple of other topics that I wanted to share as well. So, I mean, ladies first.
Oh, thank you. Smart ass. So yeah, I wanted to actually address something that happened at the Grammys, which is pretty cool for me. Mm-hmm. I'm a fan of this guy. Taika Waititi actually won a Grammy.
Really?
Yeah, the director of Thor Ragnarok, the director of Jojo Rabbit, he's an awesome director. He's an awesome director. I don't even want to get off on, I could go off on an hour of Jojo Rabbit. I don't know if you've seen it, but brilliant film. Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness, so funny, so dark. I mean, I don't know if you've seen the preview. It's a story about a boy in World War II Germany who is an ardent Nazi. Yeah, he's an ardent Nazi whose imaginary friend is Hitler. And wow. He has to come to terms with the fact that his mother is actually hiding a young Jewish girl in their house.
Interesting. I've heard of the story. I haven't seen the movie,
you could do a dramatic, heart-wrenching piece on this, and yet he did this brilliant comedy, this parody-like, slapsticky, brilliant, thought-provoking. Anyway, the guy's a brilliant director, a very good actor, and he actually won a Grammy that he didn't know he was even really eligible for. He tweeted after reading it, basically, LOL, WTFFF.
Nice.
So he won the Grammy for Best Compilation, which was a title that was introduced the year that Phil Collins had put together the soundtrack for Tarzan. And they thought this was so powerful, the compilation of different songs that he had put together for this soundtrack, they created an actual category for soundtrack compilation.
Wow.
And Taika actually won. So the guy is halfway to his EGOT, Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony. He's already got an Oscar, and now he's got a Grammy. So...
Wow. That's awesome, though. That's awesome. And another, when talking about surprises, another person that was surprised to receive a Grammy as well was Tiffany Haddish. And she was actually told while she was at work that she had won a Grammy. She didn't even know.
That's awesome.
They told her while she was at work, and she started crying. She was crying. She couldn't believe that she had won a Grammy, actually. So that's another surprise right there. So many surprises at the Grammys, which is really cool. And one other thing that we didn't talk about was how many people were at the Grammys during this time. Things are starting to reopen little by little right now. So they actually showed shots of the audience, very minimum. It almost looked like it was done at a restaurant with a small little stage. It didn't hold that many people in there, which is really cool. So, there's still a lot of social distancing being practiced right now as the world is starting to slowly but surely starting to come up with a new vaccine now. So many people are taking the new vaccine and everything. So that's really cool. that events are starting to open little by little. But that's really awesome, though, man. Those two surprises right there. In other entertainment news, I want to talk about a little bit about a couple of shows that I just discovered recently. I mean, these shows have been going on for a little bit now. On the CW, you have the Walker Texas Ranger reboot starring Jared Padalecki. And the thing about this is that Jared, he's like the guy, he's actually the executive producer of Walker. They're calling it Walker, and he also stars as Walker as well. But this is a different take from the Chuck Norris version of it. And it basically is about Texas Ranger Walker, Cordell Walker, that lost his wife and is now he left after the loss of his wife. He left Texas for a while, or he left I don't know if he left Texas, but he left his family and everything else to do an undercover assignment that had him gone for a very long time. And he's come back to a daughter that basically is, you know, going into the wrong crowd and everything. You know, he has a son that also is trying to keep himself together for the family. You know, he has a brother that's a district attorney. There's just so many different things about this version of Walker that are very interesting. And of course, Jared Padalecki, he's coming off of a 15 season stint with Supernatural. You know, and so that was very interesting. That I mean, this guy has done, like, he's done a lot. I'm very happy to see an actor like him grow the way he has in television. I mean, obviously he started in Gilmore Girls as Rory Gilmore's love interest Dean. You know, he started off there, then he went into Supernatural, then he came back for the Gilmore Girls reboot, or not reboot, but
no wonder you like him so much.
You're funny.
Part of your little girly night of Gilmore Girls when you have your little manicure and
okay, Mr. Glee. Okay, Glee.
Yeah, I was forced to watch that with my fiance.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you were. Anyways, if I start hearing you singing the other songs, oh, it's open season for you. Anyways, but yeah, I mean, he's doing really well with that one. And another CW television show that I just discovered. I mean, I was thinking about watching it, but then after seeing some trailers for it, and after seeing some footage of it, I decided to go ahead and watch it. Is Superman and Lois. And this TV show basically takes place about 16 or 17 years after Crisis on Infinite Earth ended. And this pretty much shows what's going on with what happened after Crisis ended, because during that time Lois had given birth to their first child, which is Jonathan. And this takes place when Jonathan's he's like 16 or 17 years old, and they have a younger son named Jordan. And they're both teenage sons. So this talks about how Superman is dealing with not just being the Man of Steel, but also being a parent along with Lois. The show is very interesting. I saw the pilot, I saw the first episode, and it actually has me a little hooked, because there was talks about one, if not both, of his sons inheriting his powers. And so far, it was the son that you would least expect. And I'm not going to spoil it for anybody, even though there are already 3 episodes in. So screw it. Spoiler alert, just in case you haven't seen this show yet. It turns out that, and spoiler alert for you, Jeremy, I don't know if you're going to want to watch this or not. You want me to spoil it for you?
We'll see. That one at least interests me a little bit. So I will end up watching. I don't care if you spoil it.
Okay. All right. Well, I was going to spoil it anyway because I don't care. Anyways, that's how much I love you. Turns out that both their sons, they're both polar opposites. You have the one son, the all-American boy, quarterback, in his freshman year. Actually, no, it takes place when he's their oldest son is, I would imagine, actually 15 years, because I think freshman is 15 years old. You're a freshman in high school.
Yeah, 14ish.
Yeah, somewhere around there. And then their younger son, which is he's also like 13 or 14, something like that. Or I don't know if they're twins. It's weird. I don't really remember too much of the storyline as far as the family is concerned with Superman and Lois. But the point is that one of their sons inherits the powers, and they're assuming it's the good son because their other son, Jordan, was diagnosed with social anxiety, I think it was, and he has to take medication for it. It's really bad for him because he has night terrors. He's got a lot of issues emotionally that are plaguing him, and it turns out that they were all expecting Jonathan to inherit the powers because he made the varsity team. That's how it starts off in the show. He made the varsity team, as a freshman. And they're thinking, okay, maybe his powers are starting to develop because, he throws, he's athletic, he's everything, pretty much all the powers that Superman would have. And a tragedy happens that Superman loses his mom. He loses Martha. So they have to move. They go to Kansas to settle her affairs. And it turns out that Martha wanted Clark, aka Superman, to come back to raise his family in Kansas, in Smallville. During this time, a couple of freak accidents happen, and as the Kents always go, there's always an accident, but yet they're okay, which is very strange to many people. And we go to find out that the one that actually inherited his powers, it turned out to be Jordan, the son with social anxiety and issues. So that was a surprise. Not to me. I kind of saw it coming because they always try to throw people off. And I'm like, it just seems too obvious that the perfect son turns out to be also a superhero. That's way too obvious. So I'm like, it has to be the son that has the issues that's going to end up with the powers. Sure enough, I was right. And there's a lot of story going on there. Actually very interesting. I'm looking forward to watching the other 2 episodes that they have going on right now. The 3rd episode premieres actually on Wednesday because it's Wednesdays on the CW. So I'm looking forward to seeing exactly where they go from here as far as Superman and Lois. And it's interesting to see Superman as a father, and Lois as a mother, because we've all been so used to seeing their love grow, but not with a family. It's always just been the 2 of them. It's always been Lois and Clark. It's always been Superman and Lois. No family. It's just been the 2 of them. So it's very interesting to see their parenting skills, how they acclimate, how they adapt. Superman being Superman, having to save the world, having to be the protector of the world, and at the same time being a father, raising 2 teenage boys. One that is starting to learn about his power that he didn't know he had. And what's crazy is that they didn't know that their father was Superman. He kept this hidden from them because he didn't want them to grow up knowing that their father was this savior of the world. I mean, how do you process that as a son? How do you go ahead and deal with that you're half human and half alien? That's a lot to process for a teenage boy. So hell, it was a lot to process for Superman when he grew up and found out that he was not from this planet. So it's very interesting.
I like all the little twists and turns with that. That makes me a lot more interested in that than, say, the Walker show. I like the new take that they're giving on the Superman thing, getting to watch Superman and Lois as parents, all those storylines that can come from that, all those what ifs. What
in Superman and Lois,
that definitely intrigues me and makes me want to give it a shot.
And also the half human part of these boys, it's like, remember, they are half human, half alien. So how are they going to be able to acclimate that? I mean, is Jonathan going to eventually develop powers? That's still something that we don't know yet. I mean, it's still very fresh. So that could be something. And Jordan, how is Jordan? Is Jordan going to stay being a good guy, or is he going to turn to being a bad guy? Because he's got a very dark thing about him that people that we're still trying to figure out. Is he going to end up being a good guy or a bad guy? We still don't know yet. It would be interesting for them to kind of make it as Jonathan, is eventually develops his powers, Jordan develops his, but it's kind of like a yin and yang type of thing, good versus evil, brother versus brother. We don't know yet. The other thing too is that Superman has a new villain that he has to go up against. Some guy in a suit that knows everything about Superman. And at the end of the first episode, we go to find out that it's the villain is a Luthor, and it's not Lex. So this is either an offspring or some genetically made Luthor spawn. Who knows? So there's a lot of questions that are being thrown around here as far as that's concerned. So we don't know who this Luthor is. But one thing's for sure, there is a Luthor involved in this whole thing. So we'll go ahead and keep an eye on that. And it's a lot of interesting stories going on right now as far as that's concerned. So, we'll go ahead and keep an eye on that. Coming up next in sports, Drew Brees says that he is retiring. And we'll go ahead and talk a little bit about that. But first, here is Robin Thicke's Magic right here on the Xander Effect.
Disappear, and I can erase the past. Oh, I can make the future shine so bright, and I can make right now alright. Yeah, I got it, you got it, we got the magic. Yeah, I got it, you got it, we got the magic. Yeah, I got it, you got it, we got the magic. Yeah, I got it. Concrete all around me, ooh, but I can see the countryside. You can be rich when you poor when you reach. It can be raining, and I can make the sunshine. I got it, you got it, we got the magic. I got it, you know you got it, baby. I got it, baby. We got the magic. I got it, baby. We got the magic. I know sometimes you feel no hope. Well, I've been there, I walked that lonely road. Ooh, I took whatever devil offered me, because I knew that he would set me free. Oh, I got it, you got it, we got the magic. I got it, magic, baby. We got the magic. We got the magic, baby. We got the magic. I got it, we got the magic. I got the magic. We got the magic. Ooh, science they can't prove it, but I know I can do it.
what's up, guys? This is Ariane Celeste.
This is Larry Neymar, the founder of E! Entertainment Television.
Hi, this is Maricela Cornell.
Hey, how's it going? This is Polo Molina.
Hey, yo, what's up? This is the Xander Effect, and I am the DJ KID, the Kid Capri. Welcome to the place to be.
She's the one, my only girl. She's the one, my only girl. She's the one, my only one, my only girl. She's the cause I'll always try, why is what you say to me I look into the lead, that's why no one till we're meant to be. And when you say I'm living fast and you think I'm little local, maybe it's okay, we'll do it nice and slow, Paul. We can sing again, go and draw in. Baby, cause you're mine. She's the one, my only one, my only girl. She's the one, my only one, my only girl. She's the one I hold so tight. She's the one like every night. She's the one that's down for me. Welcome to my family, yeah. She's the one, she love me true. She's the one said I love you. She's the one that gets crazy in the backseat of a caddy. She's the one that sets my heart on fire. She's the one that grabs my whole desire. She's the one for me. Straight off the cover of a magazine. Girl, you know that you're the one. Through all the hard times and the fun. Girl, I'll be there till the end. Baby, cause you're mine. She's the one, my only one, my only girl. She's the one, my only one, my only girl. Maruca, my Jaina, my only señorita. Baby, don't you know I only wanna be with you. I'm a master kid from a master path. But when I met you, you showed me love like I never had. That's why I wanna give you all the love I hold. You're the fire that burns inside my soul. You're the one that sets me free. My guardian angel from a fantasy, yeah. She's the one in the middle of the night. She's the one, she feels so right. She's the one who understands what it takes to please her man. She's the one doing body shots. She's the one giving all she's got. She's the one that's no pretend. Baby, cause you're mine. She's the one, my only one, my only girl. She's the one, my only girl.
Hey, you're listening to Xander Effect, so you better respect my authority.
I'm a one-way motorway. It's times like these, time and time again.
That was the Foo Fighters, Times Like These, right here on the Xander Effect. In sports, looks like the NFL is saying goodbye to Drew Brees. The New Orlean Saints quarterback has announced his retirement yesterday after 20 years in the NFL, and I believe it was 15 years with the Saints. And man, the guy, he had a career. He was considered one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and it's gonna be sad to see him, pretty much hang up his cleats and say goodbye to the sports after we've been so used to the crazy, games that he's had in the past. He actually went ahead and said his goodbye, and he had his kids join him in his retirement farewell to his fans and everything. So that's something that many people are going to remember. A very unique way to say goodbye to the sport of football. And we kind of saw this coming though, Jeremy. I mean, we all knew that this last game that he had against the Buccaneers during the playoffs was more than likely going to be his final game. It's sad though, because it would have been great for him to have left on a high note by going to the Super Bowl and winning it. But obviously we all knew that the Saints were kind of the underdog in that series. So, great career though. 20 years with the NFL, 15 with New Orleans.
The guy's an amazing quarterback. He's had an incredible career. He is a Super Bowl winning quarterback. He has a ring. He probably, with his talent, could have more. That is an argument that could be made. But he had an incredible career, and he was a top 5 quarterback no matter where he went. I mean, people thought this Saints move wasn't going to work out. I don't know if you remember, but when he left San Diego, everybody was talking about this being a disaster, him going to New Orleans. And look at this, 15 years, had them as a perennial playoff contender. The only years they didn't make the playoffs were when he was injured for most of the season. Mm-hmm. You cannot deny the numbers the guy put up. But yes, as you said, we definitely saw this coming. You and I have been talking about this expected retirement for a couple of years now.
Yep.
It's not that he was not still, as you saw, still a very good quarterback, still was right there in it with a chance to take his team to the Super Bowl this year. But everybody hits that point where their skills are declining, where their body's not recovering as quickly, all those things. And you've seen that with him over the last 2-3 years or so. Mm-hmm. So this is no big shock to me. All I can think to say is thanks for the memories, because he really was a fun quarterback to watch. Yeah, he was. And one of those guys that even if I was not a fan of the team he was on, I still rooted for him.
He just seemed like a nice guy too. In interviews and the way he treated fans, the way he was with fans. He just seems like a very genuine, nice guy, He does. And he has done a lot for that city. He has invested in that city. He has done a lot of charity work for New Orleans. He was instrumental in helping with fundraising and other stuff after Hurricane Katrina. Mm-hmm. He was, he's a pretty awesome guy, and he seems to care very deeply about that community. And the community cares and will always care for Drew Brees. They're going to be, he's going to always be their hero for the team. But now the question is, who's going to take his place? There are plenty of candidates out there, but New Orleans, they're a high standard team. It's going to have to be somebody that's going to have to, pretty much pick up that slack.
Well, it all depends. I don't know what their draft position has looked like over the last 10 years. Mm-hmm. Being a perennial playoff team, you're not picking that high in the draft most of the time. Mm-hmm. And we have to remember, they did get gutted for a draft for quite a few years there after that Ricky Williams debacle trade.
True.
Signing, where they gave up, every pick they had for about 3 years or whatever it was. So they might be in a rebuilding year for a couple of years. You really don't know. They don't have a lot of young stars. If you look at most of their stars, they are people who are at least midway through their career or beyond.
True.
So again, do you just try and plug another quarterback who's available in free agency in there and hope you're still a playoff team? Or do you break it down, try and rebuild, get rid of some of these bigger contracts now given that'll be hard for fans too, because you'll be letting go of names that they have come to love. But if they're going to get great again, I don't see them just plugging in a quarterback. Even if they got a great quarterback, you have aging stars around you. This might be the time for them to start a youth movement.
True. Well, I mean, I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens with Drew Brees and the New Orlean Saints. Not speaking about the New Orlean Saints, but one shocking re-sign that I heard about, talking about quarterbacks, is Cam Newton. He got re-signed to the Patriots. That was something I did not expect Bill Belichick to even agree to.
That was an interesting re-signing. I didn't think that was the best fit that we saw last year.
That's an understatement.
But I believe that Bill Belichick sees something still in Cam. Okay,
if that man sees something, it's there's got to be something there.
That's what I think. I really do. I believe that Cam still has a lot in him with the right coach. Belichick could be that coach. I don't know. But if he's still around, Belichick is seeing something that he thinks can work. Belichick is not going to stick with something that he thinks is a disaster.
True.
It may have looked like a disaster to all of us last year, but this guy knows what he's doing. As much as I dislike Bill Belichick, I have nothing but respect for his ability.
I mean, at the end of the day, too, it's one of those things where it's also a learning curve. So, and I believe maybe Belichick also sees that as well, that, you have somebody like Cam Newton that was with the Panthers for so many years. He got used to the team. He got used to the plays. He got used to the fans. He got used to so many different aspects of that particular team, that going from semi mid-level team, mid to lower level type of tier team, to the high tier level of the Patriots type style of team and coaching, again, according to the NFL, that is a huge step. That's a big step from one end to the other. And that is definitely a learning curve to it, especially with Coach Belichick. I mean, the guy is, from so many interviews, so many people pretty much see Belichick to be the strict person, the strict coach that basically expects nothing but the best from his players, nothing but perfection from his players. And again, that's what shocked me, that Cam Newton got re-signed, because I would expect Belichick to be like, dude, this is your one shot, you're done. But again, like you said, maybe he saw something, maybe, as he ages and he sees that there aren't many quarterbacks that may be able to actually take up the mantle that Brady left behind. He's kind of at a point where he's like, well, there's not too many people that could, fill those shoes. Cam Newton's the closest that I could think of that could possibly fill those shoes. He may have that potential to do so. So maybe that's the reason why he kept them. He said, hey, let's give him another shot this season. But
it's very possible, like you said, that he might not have had a better option for this year. It could be as simple as that, this is the best shot we have this year, and we'll make another decision next year. That it could be nothing more than that. But
I mean, the quarterback pool is pretty thin right now. So
it's very thin. I mean, if I am, yes, I'm ragging on my own guy, but when people are talking about, who's going to trade for Sam Darnold as the big quarterback trade, that's a pretty thin year for quarterbacks.
It really is.
So You know, that's been the big thing is, are the Niners going to trade for Darnold? Are the Saints going to trade for Darnold? Or like, really, that's the big name in free agency this year.
Well, you know what? Another sign that I was happy to hear just last night. It was just in last night, actually. My boy, Aaron Jones, he's staying with the Packers. And it was a huge negotiation, and I believe they re-signed him for $45 million. So that's a huge step for the Packers to keep him, because if they would have dropped him, I would have been so pissed. That would have been very,
very smart move on their part, you know,
because he's young.
Well, that's the thing. Rodgers is an aging quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
You have a young stud running back to take pressure off of him.
Correct.
That would be just ridiculously stupid on their part to let somebody of this kid. I mean, you and I, you know, I've been high on him for a few years now.
Since his rookie year. Was it you that drafted him during fantasy football?
Yeah, the first year.
Yep. And that was, I believe that was his first year too playing.
It was. Yep. But the combination with him and McCarthy at the time was, because McCarthy was the coach at the time, I believe. Mm-hmm. I just thought was a really good combination with this kid's skills. And as we've seen, he has really played out as a star running back. Yep. I mean, he has become everything you and I have talked about and done exactly what they needed him to do, which is take pressure off of Rodgers. You know, Rodgers is an amazing talent, but like Brees, getting to the end of it, he's a step slower, and you gotta have somebody like that. I'll throw it back to what I always do, is Elway and the Broncos. Mm-hmm. Still the greatest quarterback I've ever personally seen. That's nobody's gonna, until I see somebody else that changes my mind. I have never seen anybody like John Elway, but he couldn't win a championship until they got him Terrell Davis.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as Terrell Davis came in for the Broncos, that changed the whole game. All of a sudden, it wasn't all on Elway's shoulders. He had somebody to help carry the load, and bam, 2 straight Super Bowls. I mean, that's pretty damn impressive.
I agree. And the other thing too is that I believe this re-sign also might have something to do with Rodgers kind of giving that cryptic interview a few months ago after the loss to the Buccaneers during the playoffs, basically telling them, telling fans that, we'll see what the future holds type of cryptic message. And many fans took it as, oh, he's leaving Green Bay. Many people took it as, oh, he's leaving Green Bay. But according to what one of his former teammates said, I forgot who it was, he was on a podcast and basically said, well, what Rodgers wants, and this is just him, his assumption is that what Rodgers wants is control of the drafting process with Green Bay. He wants somebody, he wants to have some sort of control over that drafting process so that way he could have a team to work with. And in this, I would imagine, and you and I, we talked about this too, that I would imagine that he would want more receivers at this point, more receivers and possibly better guards, to make sure that he has enough time in the pocket to be able to throw the ball, because there's only so much he could do with running the ball over and over again with both Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon. Those two guys are incredible. I mean, if Aaron Jones can't do it, you got Dillon right there that's going to just mow through the line and get through just like Jones would. But as far as receivers go, you have MVS, Marquez Valdez-Scantling out there. You have, obviously you have the name escapes me right now. You have MVS, you have Adams, Devontae Adams out there. How can I forget that? How can I forget?
I was going to say, you forgot Devontae.
Yeah, that's where I had a brain fart there for a second. You have Devontae Adams out there. You have 2 great wide receivers. The other receivers are great and all, don't get me wrong, but it's just not enough. and to be perfectly honest, Devontae is the one that carries the receiving line. And he can't be doing that all the time. I mean, he got injured. He was injured for a good portion of the season. That right there hurts the team. It hurts Rodgers because he can't throw it really to anybody else. So that's what I'm assuming.
I'll give you the other side of that, though. And this is kind of a fantasy perspective, but also not, is yes, a truly great and dominant wide receiver is invaluable. Mm-hmm. But there are so many serviceable or better wide receivers out there that the pool is so deep with a talent like Rodgers. Personally, I don't feel like you have to focus on the receivers. Of course, you want him to have good people. But like you said, my concern would be his protection, his guards and his tackles, making sure he's kept safe, and focusing on the running game so that they can't just focus, the defenses can't focus on him. I personally feel that, yes, having the two great wide receivers like that is awesome. But, I mean, they got, what is it? They have one of the St. Brown brothers, right? He's, I think they have Equinemius, older brother of the USC receiver, St. Brown. I can't remember his first name at the moment, but there's a lot of very serviceable guys. I think you guys had Devin Funchess too, the receiver from the Panthers, who did really well out there for a while. So again, you can always plug in mid-tier guys with upside. You can always find those guys at receiver. Finding that value at running back, which is a lot more shallow of a talent pool, and finding that level of protection on your offensive line are much tougher. So personally, if I was Rodgers, I'd be very happy that they kept Jones. I would have to guess he had a certain amount of input in that.
True.
And like you said, if I was clamoring for anything, if I was Rodgers, it would be for better protection on the line.
Yeah.
Receiver would be way down my wish list at this point.
Yeah, because and the thing is, I've been actually harping on this point for the longest time. Rodgers needs better guard up front, because dude, that game against Tampa Bay was just a slaughter. And they were able to get through over and over again, and Rodgers had no protection. He had to get rid of the ball. He caused, that caused interceptions, that caused incomplete passes. So many things happened because he was under so much pressure. That line was not stopping, defensive tackles and right and left ends from coming through. There was no protection up front, and he wasn't able to go ahead and keep the ball. I mean, it was just all bad. It was just all bad, that game. And we've
talked about this before, man. It's protection is everything. There is a reason why quarterbacks take care of their offensive line. Okay, there are stories dating back 30 years about quarterbacks taking out their offensive line to dinner at least once a week, or after a season where they were sacked, a particularly few amount of times, buying, Rolexes for their entire offensive line. There are stories in the NFL every year about this. It's the most important relation the team, because those are the guys that keep you alive. I mean, as you and I done, look at poor Andrew Luck. One of the best talents to come out of college in a while, and because his cheap, greedy ass owners would not pay to protect him, he damn near got killed in the 6 years he was in and had to retire early. He had 2 punctured lungs, a punctured spleen, fractured ribs left and right.
He's a mess.
Over and over and over, massive concussions, separated shoulders, a fractured back. Jeez. He was the most sacked quarterback in the league every single year he was in the league. And he was a mobile quarterback, so that was not on him. His cheap, greedy-ass owner actually said, well, I'd like to get him a better guard, but, we paid him so much money. Like, excuse me?
Because they don't make enough money off fans and stadiums and everything else. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Exactly. No, let's get the star of your team almost killed on a daily basis. That makes sense.
You know, sometimes these owners, they crack me up with their comments like that, because I'm just wondering to myself, I'm like, are you even thinking? Or like, are you are you even thinking at all when it comes to this? I mean, it's mind blowing what some of these owners are thinking when they say this stuff. So, well, I mean, bottom line is, you know, so many different things happening right now in the off season of the NFL. We're just going to have to wait and see what happens when the season begins. And I mean, like I said, we just finished, you know, the NFL season. We're going into other sports seasons right now, and
baseball, baby.
You got baseball, basketball is going
training.
on right now.
Well, yeah. But come on, spring training. Dodgers are back, baby. Dodgers are back. It's spring training.
Yeah,
sorry, I'll get excited about the NBA when Anthony Davis comes back to the Lakers. Right now, it's just LeBron losing. So.
I can tell you're excited about baseball, though.
Oh, yes, dude, come on, it's Dodgers. You know me. True. I bleed blue, baby. It's Dodgers season again.
So do I. Hey, I love the Dodgers as well. So I'm in Los Angeles. I'm there.
Let's talk about this real quick. Mm-hmm. The Dodgers have the most potent pitching staff I have ever seen coming into this year. Okay, we already led the league in ERA last year, led the entire league in ERA. And what happens? We're getting David Price back, who sat out last year because of COVID and he opted out so he could be near his family during the pandemic. David Price, perennial Cy Young competitor, perennial all-star, and one of the best pitchers of the last 10 years. And then just signed Trevor Bauer, who was a runner-up in the Cy Young this year, and has had one of the top ERAs in the league for the last 3 or 4 years. Add that to Clayton Kershaw and Walker Buehler, as well as the 3 young arms the Dodgers had who pitched all last year. They have 7 starters who all have all-star caliber stuff. 7 starters. And that's not even talking about the bullpen or the backups I mean, dude, I have never seen a pitching staff this loaded before. And you want to know the beautiful thing? They don't have an ego about it. David Price, Mr. Contender, competitor, possible Hall of Famer, probable Hall of Famer, came to the management and said, hey, I took a look at what we got. Looks a little crowded. You guys put me wherever you need me.
Well, here's the thing. It's almost like they heard you. Because if I remember correctly, we talked about this on one of the episodes, how the Dodgers need to invest on better pitchers, on a better pitching, lineup, because even in the playoffs, you were like, I can't believe they're putting him in. These guys are not, pitchers that need to be put in right now. They need better pitchers. And ask and you shall receive. Apparently they heard you.
I like I said, man, it's a beautiful thing to see right now. I mean, Kershaw's still an amazing pitcher, but he's on the downside. Yeah. He reminds me very much of Greg Maddux late in his career, where his stuff had changed. He'd lost some speed on his fastball, and he had to become a new type of pitcher. Mm-hmm. He had to adjust. He had to create new pitches. He had to stop trying to overpower everybody and become a little more crafty. And I'm watching Kershaw do that now, and it's great because he is altering his game. He is still a very dominant pitcher. We have Walker Buehler, who's one of the young guns, who's definitely going to be in the Cy Young conversation for the next 5, 6, 7 years. And then we have some up and comers. But to go out and invest in top tier pitching, where we are so stocked at the moment that even a couple of injuries we can still deal with, that's something that you just can't put a price on for a baseball team.
Very true.
You can't. Pitching, especially in the postseason, wins championships.
Very true. Very true. And, with the season beginning, I think the Dodgers are going to have a good chance to make it to the playoffs, World Series. we're gonna have to wait and see what happens with that, because that was
all Dodgers, baby, back to back.
Hey, you know what? That one's always a crapshoot. I'm rooting for the blue. I'm rooting for the Dodgers. I'm rooting for the guys.
And can I say,
but I don't want to jinx it either. So
I am so happy that we have reached the point of being able to open back up the stadiums.
Yeah.
The Dodgers will have fans this year, given still social distancing. They're only going to be at about 1/5 to 1/4 capacity. So you're only going to have, I think, a max of about 15,000 people at the game rather than 55,000. But there will be fans there, and as fans, we will get the opportunity to maybe go to a game this year, and that's pretty awesome.
Yay! Well, that is definitely good news to hear from many people. I mean, we missed it last year. It was one hell of a 2020. Hopefully 2021 will slowly but surely start, getting back to a new normal, but a normal nonetheless. So we'll see what happens as these months progress. In other sports news, the UFC fighters are calling for new gloves after another eye poke incident ending UFC Vegas 21. And man, the pictures on this poke was pretty bad. But here's the thing: the eyeball was practically exposed. Let's put it that way. But here's the thing, that this has been going on for a long time, where UFC fighters are consistently getting poked in the eye because, the gloves, they cover the majority of the hand except for the fingers. And of course, you're supposed to keep your thumb in when you're fighting with gloves, but you can't really do that with gloves because they're so thick. So
it's very difficult with MMA gloves because of the way they're made.
Extremely. So it's something that maybe the way they need to do it is wrap the thumb, because the thumb is the one that actually pokes the eye. It's mainly the thumb, not the other fingers, just the thumb. So maybe they can come up with a glove that maybe doesn't cover the finger, the first four fingers, but it does cover the glove to protect the person from getting poked in the eye.
Well, see, the problem is, this like I do, though. You've done grappling, you've done that stuff. If you can't grip with your thumb, how are you going to grip properly?
Yeah,
that's the problem. You have to have that exposed for the grappling side of it.
Or maybe they could find a way to put or they could go ahead and put latex, like a latex glove, so we could still have movement to be able to grapple, but not
something
enough.
Or maybe, I would say even just less padding in between the thumb and the fingers, so that it's easier for the fighter to keep it tucked in.
Correct.
If they need to, but that would still leave them the flexibility for grappling and being able to get a good grip.
Correct.
That would be my solution, is because, you've felt those things. The amount of padding in between your fingers, it keeps your hands spread.
Yeah, it does. It really does.
It's almost impossible to make a fist in those things. So.
It's really bad. And I've seen some pretty bad eye pokes. I think I remember that even a fighter's eye even popped out or something like that. It was really bad. It's been really bad with those eye pokes.
But see, if you remember the old Pride days, when they were the days back in Japan where they were doing the shoot fighting stuff, they had the old school gloves that had no fingers.
Yeah.
And it was some of the crappiest grappling you've ever seen. Guys couldn't get a hold of each other. They couldn't get a good grip. So they were still doing MMA, but you didn't see a lot of the same grappling techniques, because how the hell are you supposed to grab onto somebody when
look
your
like
hands
robot hands? It
exactly.
Was weird.
So it's a tough decision, because yes, finger poke or eye pokes are horrible.
They're career-ending.
You're talking about career-ending injuries here, but at the same time, you can't limit the grip, or else you take away an entire aspect of MMA.
Yeah. I say they go back to bare knuckle. I say they go back to bare knuckle.
I say go back to bare knuckle too. I really do. But the truth is that was more for protecting the UFC.
Yeah, blah blah, wham wham.
No, it was. They didn't want guys breaking their hands mid-fight.
They break their hands anyway.
Well, this is the thing. The glove rule came around when they were still doing the tournament style Pride and UFC, where it was, you fought so many people in a row to get to the championship. Well, too many people were breaking their hands. I believe it was UFC 3. They had like 3 or 4 people break their hands. So by the time they got to the final fight, it was 2 of the substitution guys who hadn't even fought, fighting for the championship because they had nobody else who wasn't injured. So from that time, it was like, no, we have to do something. We can't have guys not able to continue. And that was what spurred on the rule originally.
I mean, yeah, but going back to what you were just saying right now about what we were talking about guys breaking their hands. I mean, I remember talking to Quentin Rampage Jackson a few years ago, and this is fresh off of his fight against God, who was it? It was a televised. It was on Spike TV. I can't remember the who he went up against, but he went up against a fighter that has a freaking like iron jaw, and I talked to him, and he even actually showed me his hand, and it was still very swollen. And he's dude, this guy, his jaw was just so like it was hard as a rock, man. I damn near broke my hand punching him, and he wouldn't go down. I gave it all I got, and he would not go down. So fighters do get injured, even with those gloves on. They still get injured pretty badly with their hands. So, I mean, like I said before, they break their hands anyway when they're hitting them anyway.
There's just less chance of it happening quickly and, the fight not being able to continue.
True.
So, I mean, it really is just protecting their back pocket for these big events and stuff so that, they don't end up losing a major fight because of something like that. But I'm a purist, me. I'd rather go back to the old school. I'd rather go back to no weight limits and everybody fighting everybody.
That was fun.
That was the way it was meant to be with MMA.
That was a lot of fun to watch.
It was meant to be style versus style. It wasn't meant to be everybody doing the same shit against each other.
That's true. And that was all, like I said, that's always a lot of fun to watch, let me tell you. But I guess we'll go ahead and see what the UFC and maybe even also Bellator, they might have to consider this too, about protecting their fighters a little bit more by adding more stuff to the gloves. So who knows what's going to happen? We'll just have to wait and see what the future holds for MMA and those gloves. Coming up next in video game news, looks like Warzone, Call of Duty Warzone, went ahead and one of the actresses, Mara, gets 2 cheaters that were on Twitch banned from playing Call of Duty. We'll talk a little bit about that. But first, we're going back to the 90s with TLC's Creep right here on the Xander Effect.
Yes. It's me again. And I'm back. till the day he pushes me away. Never go astray. If he knew the things I did, he couldn't handle it. And I choose to keep him protected. Oh, so I quit. Yeah, I just keep it on that I love. So nobody else supposed to know. So I quit. Yeah, she doesn't know what I do, and no attention close to show. So I quit. Yeah, all on that I'm, so nobody else will love me. Yeah, give me shit, love you, yeah. You're on the line, and no attention close to show.
You're listening to Xander Effect. Oh boy.
Yo, what's happening? It's your favorite guest, Drew Brown.
Hey guys, this is Ian Garen.
Hey, this is Annalise Hoveda.
Hey yo, this is Nightmare from Dirty Machine.
Hi, this is Cambry Lovesey.
Hey, this is Lovely.
And you're listening.
And you're listening.
And you're listening.
And you're listening.
And you're listening to the Xander Effect.
Since the last time I went to the mall in between class, I remember it all perfectly cause I tried to kiss ya. Yeah, right, I was in to see me with ya, oh. But it suddenly ended, I went cold and you took some distance. My emotions just went up and down in a whirlwind. Anxiety, tears, broken dreams and obsession. How I like you and see you and love hasn't changed, But the one thing that's in isn't ready for you. I've become the man you want. I don't need nobody to tell me what to do, to tell me what to say. I don't need nobody to make me feel secure, to build myself for you, baby. Baby, you got it, cause you've been hurt, I understand it. Been practicing about you or what you decided. I've tamed my demons best way I can. I work my head so that it won't flounder. Back to the dark place, back to the scar, get constantly hounded. My rejection and inferiority. I ask myself to remain calm. You're capable, you're wonderful, you like who you become. Don't blow it, don't blow it. She needs a man who's strong. I remind myself that I don't need nobody to tell me what to do, to tell me what to say. I don't need nobody to make me feel secure, to build myself for you, baby. Baby, you got it, cause you've been hurt, I understand it. Been practicing about you or what you decided. He was a pain in your book. Oh, chapter 2. We need to be a friend this time. I'm here, I'm willing, I'm able. We don't really need to mess around. We're both jacked out of the same boat. Just chance of like for us to ride. Grab a pen on my hand, I'm scared to. But for you, I'll take the chance. We don't need nobody to tell us what to do, to tell us how to live. We don't need nobody to build us up for two.
That was Ian Garen's Chapter 2 right here on the Xander Effect. In video game news, looks like two Twitch streamers or gamers were discovered to be cheating on Call of Duty Warzone by none other than Alex Zedra, who is the actress for Call of Duty Warzone's and Modern Warfare's Mara. She ended up finding these two cheaters and banned them on Twitch after she called them out. And it basically went something like, quote, "Hey, at Twitch, I hosted a streamer hacking during a tourney. Just thought you should know. Icy Vixen and Bearded Banger." So she went ahead and called them out. and you know, she put her at Alex underscore Zedra, and yeah, looks like both of their channels have been officially suspended, and they've been banned. So looks like they're you know, it's something that and she went ahead and she thanked Twitch by saying, "Thank you at Twitch for banning the most toxic hackers I've ever come across in my 5 years of being on this platform. Glad I got to witness him being banned live after being called bitch and the 1v1 them as they are blatantly hacking." I am so thrilled to hear this because I'm so fed up with these cheaters. Here's the thing, and Jeremy, you know this, I've been talking about this for the longest time. If you don't know how to play the game fairly, then don't play the game, because at the end of the day, what you're doing is you're trolling. You are causing issues for so many players that just want to play the game. They want to have fun. They want to enjoy. We don't need your toxicity on any of these games. Go ahead and find something else to play. You know, if you can't play it correctly, then don't play it at all. Stop playing these games. But of course, this is going to fall on deaf ears because I just found out actually in playing, I was playing Warzone. I was playing Call of Duty Black or Cold War last night, I believe, or no, a couple nights ago with another gamer. And by the way, shout out to this gamer. His name is Slonicus on Xbox. Shout out to him. He actually went ahead and I told him that this is mind you, this is a guy that just met on Xbox, and I told him that my controller had an issue, that the B button kept on getting stuck, and this is a controller that I bought at GameStop, by the way, off of their website. They sent it to me. The controller was completely the B button kept on sticking, and it was a pre-used controller, so obviously I figured, but still $49 for this pre-used controller and it didn't work, kind of screwed up, but whatever. So I mentioned this to this gamer on Xbox, and he said, "Dude, what's your address? I'll send you a brand new controller. I have it still in the box and everything, and I'll just send you a new one, man. I'm not even using it." Now, when you're on Xbox, many gamers tend to have delusions of grandeur and say, "Yeah, I could get you this, I could get you that. No worries." I've met gamers like that, that basically claim that they have family members at Turtle Beach and they could get free headsets. They also claim that, one gamer, and I'm not going to mention his name, but one gamer claimed that he could go ahead and send me, not only a new headset with a new controller and everything. Never came through with it. There's a lot of BSers out there, but this particular gamer came through, went ahead, and for those of you that are watching us on YouTube, I'm showing you the controller right here. This controller right here, he got me this controller, sent it to me. Sure enough, it was here. I got it. So shout out to Slonicus for sending me that controller. Thank you so much for that, man. You definitely hooked it up. So I appreciate that. But going back to what we were talking about, and I was talking to Slonicus, and he had told me he's got a buddy of his that works in the gaming industries that told him that basically when we are asked to send to report players for cheating or whatever, these hackers have found a way to get those reports on them. If it's on them, they have a way to funnel it back to them, and they put it on the cloud and put it away so that the companies that we're reporting them to don't ever get these messages.
It doesn't shock me.
This is ridiculous. This is getting ridiculous.
To cheat at a video game that gets them nothing.
I'm saying, this is ridiculous. I mean, these hackers are actually doing this. I mean, do they not? Well, I would have to say they have nothing better to do. I mean, they are in quarantine. They really have nothing better to do but to troll and to just, cause havoc for gamers that want to just play the game. We're all in quarantine. We've all been stuck at home for over a year. Okay. we got nothing better to do than to, play the game. And for you to go ahead and make things worse by trolling, by making, the gaming experience a living hell, just makes it worse on us too. I mean, come on. Give me a break here. So my message is to all these developers, do something about these hackers that are also now finding ways to funnel in all these complaints into their system so that way no one ever gets the complaint against these guys. I'm so happy that this actress, Alex, was able to find these two hackers and ban them. All hackers need to be banned off of gaming systems. They should not be allowed to be on here causing havoc and trolling. If they want to do that, create a lobby just for them. Let the hackers go up against hackers. That'd be fantastic. Just let them go up against themselves. Kind of like how GTA, how Rockstar created a bad gaming lobby, a bad gamer lobby just for these types of gamers. Put them all in there and let them go at it with one another. That's all you got to do. Just let them go at it. You want to hack, you want to go ahead and go up against, well, you know what? Go up against your own cheaters. Have fun with that. That's my rant.
I'd be totally good with that. Stick them all in, one server and let them go to town on each other.
I'm saying, man. I mean, it's one of those things where it gets annoying. I mean, you and I, we played. It was fun, folks, because Jeremy and his two sons and myself, we got to play PUBG last week. That was a lot of fun, by the way. Really enjoyed it.
Had a ball.
Yeah, I mean, we during the waiting lobby, I was beating the crap out of everybody, and they were beating me up too. We were throwing rocks and what was it? What was it? Apples, rocks, we were just
snowballs.
It was funny though. I mean, the experience on that was so hilarious because when we first got in there, we were driving, we crashed into one another in the dune buggies.
It was just a lot of fun to screw around, but truthfully, we had a good time because, it seemed like a pretty chill server.
Yeah.
There didn't seem to be anybody in there BSing. I mean, there's some good snipers and good people that definitely can take you out quick, but they, what's it called? There's definitely, all of that, but we didn't have any of that hacker type crap, people, you're sitting there shooting them and they're not taking damage, any of that other crap that comes up that really ruins the experience for other people.
Yep, true. And that's, at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. Just enjoying it, having fun with your friends, having fun with your family. I mean, we had a blast because of exactly what you just said. And that's always, it's always fun to have that type of fun. That's what gaming's all about. To get away from the normal crap that you deal with on a daily basis and just escape for a little bit and have fun, not to go from a crappy day and end it with another crappy day on in gaming. It's not fair. So I'm glad to see that happened. I'm glad to see, hopefully, these developers start finding ways. I mean, Slonicus said it best. He's like, dude, there's always going to be cheaters. There's always going to be hackers. There's nothing we're going to be able to do about it. We just got to live with it. And I agree with that. But if they could at least start cracking down a little harder, way harder, then maybe we won't have to deal with it that much. And that's just the way I look at it. So,
well, I mean, I'll throw it to a game you and I are both playing right now, Star Trek Fleet Command.
Mm-hmm.
We had a person who used to be a part of my alliance, not my alliance, but the alliance I belong to, who got a little, I guess, pissy and butthurt with Scopely, the company who makes it, as well as with some of the other alliances who were screwing with him, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this guy is apparently a hacker because he hacked in and created hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of false bot accounts and filled entire sectors with bot ships and bot bases and taken up all the mining spots and
wow,
just trolling the whole server basically. And Scopely's done nothing about it. They literally, I don't know, I mean, it goes away for like a day, and then he'll repopulate entire areas with these bots, and it just ruins the game. You can't go into those sectors to do any missions or to do anything. It's him being a dick just to be a dick.
I wish there was anti-hackers that are hackers that go in and just troll the hackers. That's what I wish.
There are, but they're not doing that for video games. They're doing that for the financial hackers. They're doing that for phone records and personal data. But there are people out there doing it. There are the anti-hackers.
And that's what I would love that they would do for video gamers. You know, teach these guys a lesson to stop hacking, because they're going to get hacked too. I'll tell you, that's some of my favorites. If you want to get on YouTube and have a fun, few minutes watching somebody just lose their mind, go on and just YouTube, hacker gets his account cleared or whatever. And basically it's these people who prey on, the elderly and whatever else. And these guys get on and they use a fake voice, and they basically tap into the hacker's computer, take control of it, and wipe their files. Good.
And it's absolutely hysterical. You hear these guys just losing it. They're trying to run their scam. They're trying to stick to the script, and the guy's just screwing with them and making it take longer so he can get in. And then finally he'll take it over and he'll put some weird screen on their thing, and they just lose it on him.
Nice.
Like they're the ones who've been wrong. They're sitting here trying to scam the elderly out of their hard-earned money, and they lose their shit. It's so funny to watch.
Nice. I gotta check that out. And in talking about YouTube again, guys, check us out on YouTube. We are now officially on video, even though Jeremy, I'm looking at a big J on his screen.
I'll be there soon. Today was not a good day for the camera.
Well, I mean, I get it. You need to be pretty for it, so it's all good.
I'm always pretty.
There you go. And that's the news. In case you haven't heard it, thank you so much for listening to our welcome back to life again, Xander Effect podcast. Thanks everybody for listening for tuning in. Jeremy, again, thanks for being on here, man. Appreciate your time as always.
Absolutely, brother. Good to be back. Hope everybody enjoyed the show, and looking forward to talking again in a couple days.
Oh yeah, totally. And of course, Lonnie, sorry we missed you. Hopefully you'll be able to come back on the Xander Effect very soon. And again,
please, Lonnie, don't make me deal with him alone.
And of course, wanted to also wish Jason well. I hope that everything's okay wherever he's at. Hopefully we'll have him back on the podcast again very soon. And once again, catch us on YouTube. We're now on YouTube. Just go ahead and on the search engine, just check out, search for the Xander Effect podcast. Will pop up. All our episodes are on there. Make sure you subscribe, hit that notification button, so that way you can go ahead and find out when new episodes are popping up. Again, we're on here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Yeah, man. I mean, I'm excited to be back on YouTube. You'll see some of the earlier episodes of the Xander Effect. You'll see the evolution of the Xander Effect from when I first started the show, which cracks me up every time I see it. I'm like, wow, I can't believe I did that. But I'm very happy. I'm still very proud of how I've gone from there to here. So very, very happy about that. And as always, we're still in a pandemic. We're getting better. Things are reopening slowly but surely, but there's still many, many people out there that haven't gotten the vaccine yet. And even those that have gotten the vaccine still need to be courteous to those that haven't. Still continue to wear your mask, still continue to practice social distancing, still continue to practice general hygiene, wash your hands, wear your goggles if you got them, wear your gloves if you got them when you go out. Still continue to practice the basic precautions during this coronavirus pandemic. So continue to watch each other's back, and remember, music always heals all. We'll see you next time.
Yeah. I was like, open them up. Sure that she's talking and open them up. If it says something, we're going it out. And then there's something it out. And then it's got, and it's part of this stuff, and it's got it. Jumping and that's what we got.
The Xander Effect is powered by 50/50 Global Music Inc., Sony Music The Orchard, and Bertelsmann. In association with Art 19 Media.